Hi guys. So let's talk about the second half of the books I read in the month of January. Finally. First up, I've read the first 3 volumes of the Radiant Black series. This was the January pick for the Realm of Book Club. Kyle Higgins is the writer, artist Marcelo Costa, and yeah, Becca Carey is the letterer, at least for the first one. And other names we have are Chen, Firigato, La Fuente, Marquez, and Muerto. So these are the 3 volumes that are out. In the back, it's talking about how he's setting up a series or something like that. And these were really interesting. Massive verse. With this series, the Rogue Sun, Radiant Red, and the Dead Lucky. I am definitely interested because this threw me for a loop. So this is a superhero series. This is an origin story. And we're following this guy who is very relatable. He went to LA college to become a writer, and that's not been working out so well for him. So he's moving back home to Illinois and move in with his parents because of his money situation. His school best friend that he grew up with and his parents don't really know exactly how dire the situation is or how bad his mental health is. And while hanging out with his childhood best friend who never moved away from home, they come across this like floating orb, and dude touches it, and now he has this power suit and superpowers and this like alien presence talking to him in his brain. And he's like, what the fuck? Understandably. This even the first volume throws you for several loops. And if you follow like superhero stories from the past like 3 or 4 decades, like this is like, wait a minute, that's not, you come into this with expectations, even if you enjoy them, but then like halfway through and then a quarter or 3/4 of the way through, some loops are thrown in. It's like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. And I really, really appreciate that. I enjoy this enough. I'm definitely going to get into Massive Verse. I appreciate how modern and relatable these are, and not just with Nathan, but also his friend and other people that they're dealing with. we meet up with in here. The one thing I will say is I feel like the bad guys are kind of glossed over a lot. Like they pop up randomly, and quite a few of them have their own superpowers, and it's like, how? Because that's not like, this is not, everyone gets a superpower, or is it? We don't know. So that's the one thing I will say I didn't like about this series. So this one, I think I'm gonna give 4 stars to. This one, I'm gonna give a 4.5 stars to. This one, maybe a 4 star. Yeah, 4 stars. Can you tell I'm not doing co-pilot this year? So yeah, that was this. The next thing I read was The Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Rowan Horse. This is an urban fantasy. Rebecca Rowan Horse and the characters, for the most part, in this book are Native American, First Nations people, and this is a post-apocalyptic story where the big water came and basically drowned most of the people in the United States. The few who are left are in these smaller communities, one of which is Native Americans, who are behind this physical yet somehow mystical wall protecting them from the big waters on the outside. Our main character is Maggie, and she has these abilities, and she's a monster hunter, basically. I think she doesn't really know what to do with herself. She gets hired for this job to kill a monster, and it's one that she's never seen before. So while she's visiting an old friend after that and telling him like what's going on. By old friend I mean older, like an elderly man. The friend is like, hey, my nephew can help you out, and the nephew seems to be hinted at in training kind of medicine man type, and she's just like, what am I supposed to do with this guy who's in training or whatever? But his abilities come out as time goes on, and they're trying to figure out who is letting out these weird monsters and why. There's a lot of pain that Maggie goes through. There are flashbacks and things like that, and I enjoyed this. You should definitely check out some owned voices viewers to tell you what they think about the representation. I know I had heard mixed reviews with regards to that. The last book I finished in the month, no matter what Storygraph says, because I don't know what that's about. I read Death Note, the Black Edition, Volume 2, finally. So, trying to continue this series, I had read Volumes 1 and 2 years and years and years ago. These editions were not out. This was before there were English translations available, so your girl was reading legally translated scans online. I didn't know what volume I was in. So the black editions are like collector's editions. They contain 2 of the original tankobon. So Death Note is very popular. Story by Sugumi Oba. Art by Takeshi Obata. In this, we're following Light Yagami, who has found a Death Note. Death Notes are books held or owned by Shinigami, I'm forgetting the terms, who are like deity in some way. But anyway, a Death Note is something that you can write a person's name in, a human person's name in, and they will die. There are all kinds of rules and things like that, and they show up throughout the story, but the main thing is that's what a Death Note is. So Light gets a hold of a Death Note, and he realizes that he can kill people, and he wants to make the world a better place, so he starts killing criminals. Obviously, the authorities start realizing in Japan that there's a lot of mysterious deaths happening. So they start looking into it. They call in an expert, profiler type called L to help them figure it out. The funny thing is that Light's father is on the team to figure out who this killer is. Now, in this obviously the story progresses, and I think I might have actually read these, or no. What it is I started watching the anime too, so I kind of sort of knew what was happening in this one. This is very much, I feel, very cerebral, very thought-provoking manga, which is different. Light and L and other people have to come up with every scenario to either not get caught or to get caught or all of this stuff. And, you know, it has you thinking about that, the whole crime aspect, but also about how you can, morals and values of society. I am definitely interested to see where this story goes. I think I'd give this a 3.5 stars as well. I enjoyed it. Not a new fave. I don't know how I'm gonna feel going through. Like, the intrigue is still there, but on a slightly lesser level. Or also, it's not as unique because it's not a brand new story anymore. Like, oh, that's different. Now we're already in this world, which is very interesting. So those are the books I read in the month of January. Let me know if you read any of these. If you're part of the realm of comics book club, we already did the live show a while ago for the Radiant Black volumes. But if you weren't there or you have thoughts you didn't get to express, I want to know down below. What was your favorite book in the month of January? Tell me that as well. Guys, if you liked it, like it. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming. And I'll be catching up so that my recent reads come out on time, as they should. But, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!